My daughter left her autistic little boy, 5 years old, on my doorstep and never returned. That was 11 years back. I raised Ethan alone. People said he would never make it. Too different. Too difficult. They were wrong. By 16, he'd built software valued at $3.2 million. The news ran his story. 2 weeks later, my doorbell rang. Rachel, my daughter, stood there with an attorney and a stack of documents claiming she'd been involved the entire time. Custody papers, financial records, visit logs, every page a lie but crafted to look legitimate. Our lawyer studied them and warned that unless we proved they were forged, we could lose. I panicked. Ethan didn't. He leaned over and whispered, "Let her talk." I stared at him. We were on the verge of losing everything, and he wanted her to keep lying. Calm, watching, as if he already knew what he would do. My name is Vivian. I'm 68, and this is my story. Before we go on, tell us in the comments where you're watching from, and subscribe to Never Too Old. We're building a community that believes our strongest chapters can begin at any age. Back to the story. Rachel arrived one Friday in November 2010 with Ethan and a single backpack. "Just for the weekend, Mom," she said. "I need a break, please." Ethan stood beside her, 5 years old, eyes on the porch floor. He rocked heel to toe, hands clamped over his ears though the porch was quiet. "Rachel, I'll call you Sunday." She was already hurrying to her car. No hug, no kiss goodbye. Just gone. I watched her taillights fade. Ethan kept rocking. I'd spent 35 years teaching elementary school. A handful of autistic students had been mainstreamed into my class, always with aides and specialists handling the toughest parts. Standing there with my grandson, I realized how little I knew about living with it. "Hey, Ethan," I whispered. "Want to come inside?" He didn't look at me, just rocked. I picked up the backpack. Too light for a weekend. I opened the door wide and waited. After a minute, he walked past me, hands still over his ears. The refrigerator hummed. He flinched. The heater clicked on. He pressed tighter. I closed the door as quietly as I could. He crouched in the living room corner by the bookshelf. "Hungry?" Silence. "Thirsty?" The rocking quickened. I poured water into the yellow plastic cup I kept for his visits, rare, maybe twice a year, and set it on the floor an arm's length away. He paused, looked, and resumed rocking. That first night was the worst. I made chicken nuggets and fries. Rachel once said he ate those. He turned away. "Pasta? No. A sandwich?" He pushed it aside. "What do you want to eat?" He hummed low, staring at the wall. Crackers worked, 3 of them. Bedtime unraveled. I tried to help him brush his teeth. He screamed. Not crying, screaming, as if I'd hurt him. I stepped back. He stopped, shaking. "Okay," I said softly. "Okay, you can skip it tonight." In the guest room, I tucked the blanket the way I thought children liked. He threw it off. I tried again. He screamed. I left the blanket at the foot of the bed and backed out. He didn't sleep. His low hum lasted all night. I didn't sleep either. Saturday morning, I called Rachel. No answer. "Honey, call me back. I need to know what Ethan eats, his routines." Nothing that day. Nothing that night. Nothing Sunday morning or Sunday night. 1 week slid into 2. I took Ethan to the pediatrician. The doctor confirmed what I suspected. "He's autistic, Mrs. Cooper." "Has anyone discussed evaluation?" His mother was supposed to handle that. The doctor nodded. "Well, you're handling it now." I enrolled him in therapy, speech, occupational, behavioral. I learned his breakfast had to be identical daily. Scrambled eggs, toast cut corner to corner, nothing touching. I learned the route to therapy couldn't change. Any detour brought screams. I learned to avoid touching him unless he initiated it. I learned to watch more than I did. 2 weeks after he arrived, I found him at dawn on the living room floor with a bin of toy cars, lining them in a perfect row. Not random, arranged by color in micro shades. Red, then slightly more orange, then yellow. then yellow-green, so subtle I had to squint. "That's amazing, Ethan," I murmured. He didn't look up, just kept arranging. December came, still no call. I stopped pushing for eye contact or chatter and built sameness instead. Same breakfast, same times, same shows. Same bedtime routine he finally tolerated, me saying goodnight from the doorway. He calmed. Not joyful, but less frantic. He sat while I read. He ate without shoving the plate away. On Christmas Eve, I made sugar cookies. He didn't help, but he watched as I cut shapes. Vanilla and butter filled the kitchen. The phone rang. "Rachel?" "Mom." Her voice was flat, tired. "Thank God. When are you coming to get him? He needs you." I can't do this anymore, Mom." "What?" "He's yours." She swallowed. "I tried. I really tried. I can't." "Rachel." Click. I stood with the phone in my hand while the cookies burned. Smoke curled from the oven. I turned it off, pulled the tray, black cookies. I slid down to the floor, back against the cabinet. Ethan appeared in the doorway, studied me longer than he ever had, walked to the counter, lifted the yellow cup and set it beside me. Then he returned to the living room. I cried there with a charred cookie sheet and a yellow plastic cup. The years blurred. I kept everything the same. Eggs and toast every morning, predictable routes, predictable evenings. He was okay when life was identical. At 6, he became absorbed with magnetic letters, hours of patterns and sequences I couldn't decode. Then came notebooks, circles, lines, ticks, marks, tracking a world only he understood. "Should I worry?" I asked his therapist, Dr. Lin. "He's tracking his world. It makes him feel safe. Let him." By 7, symbols turned to letters. Simple words appeared: egg, toast, school, home. Neat block print. At 8, full sentences. He learned brief eye contact, tolerated grocery trips if we went at the same time weekly, learned I wouldn't leave or change things without warning. One spring morning, I was cooking eggs and toast. Ethan wrote in his notebook, "Why did Mom leave?" The spatula nearly fell. 3 years of mostly silence, then a full sentence. "She said she couldn't handle it," I answered, sitting. He nodded, wrote, and stared at the page. I served breakfast, then cried in the bathroom. I'd told him the truth, the only thing I had, alongside eggs, toast, and the yellow cup. A year later, September 2014, the school called. Ethan, now 9 and starting 4th grade, was progressing. Full sentences, lunch in the cafeteria, sometimes raising his hand, yet Principal Andrews wanted to move him. "He'll be better served in our special needs classroom," he said. "Other students are moving at a different pace. Ethan keeps up with the work. It's behavioral. He avoids group activities, won't make eye contact in circle time, covered his ears in music class, sensory issues. Our program would be less stressful for everyone, less stressful for the teacher," I thought. "I want an IEP meeting," I said. For 3 days, I gathered everything: report cards, therapy notes, documentation. His reading was above grade level, math 2 years ahead, handwriting precise. The problem wasn't ability, it was difference. Friday afternoon, under humming fluorescence, we met. Andrews, Mrs. Brennan, the psychologist, the special ed coordinator. Folders everywhere. "Ethan's sweet," Brennan said. "But he struggles socially, sits alone, refuses to participate. Does he do the work?" I asked. A pause. "Yes. But school is more than worksheets. It's communicating. He's autistic. Communication is hard, and he's trying." Ms. Pierce leaned forward. "Our resource room is smaller, fewer distractions. With students who can't keep up academically," I said. "That's not Ethan." Andrews used that reasonable, patronizing principal tone. "We must consider all students' needs." "So Ethan's disruptive?" "Not exactly." "Then what?" Pierce opened her folder. Social skills assessments show significant delays. IQ testing is inconclusive. He refused timed sections. Timed tasks make him anxious, I countered. His therapist documented it. Which supports our point, Andrews said. He needs support we can't offer in a mainstream class. I opened my folder. Reading at 7th grade level, math at 5th grade mastery, therapy progress across speech, regulation, and sensory tolerance. He came this far because people believed he could. It's not about expectations, Brennan murmured. Yes, it is. You want him elsewhere because he doesn't fit your picture of normal, I pushed on rights. Under IDEA, he's entitled to the least restrictive environment, mainstream with supports, not removal. They exchanged looks. Draft an IEP with accommodations, Andrews finally said. Noise-canceling headphones, extra time for transitions, a quiet space when overwhelmed. Accommodations, not removal, I insisted. Agreed, he said at last. But if he continues to struggle, he won't, I lied, knowing only that giving up would never be the answer. That evening, I organized the notes into a color-tabbed 3-ring binder: medical, educational, therapy, legal. Ethan watched, then asked, "What are you doing?" "Making sure the school can't forget what you can do." "Can I help?" "Sure." He studied my tabs and pointed to therapy notes. Sort by date, then by type. Speech separate from occupational and behavioral. He reordered the section in 10 minutes. Logical, crisp, perfect. That's really good, I said. He nodded. At 10, his speech therapist suggested a tablet for communication support. I saved and bought one for his birthday. He mastered it in a day. Within a week, he scanned every page of his notebooks, creating digital copies. Why? I asked. So I don't lose it. Other parents at therapy asked my secret. I don't handle him, I said. I listen. How do you stay patient? I stopped trying to make him someone else. He saw patterns everywhere. A mistimed traffic light, a 3-cent pricing error, a principal's smile that didn't reach his eyes. By 11, a teacher said he embarrassed her by correcting a math mistake, accurately. They threatened an oppositional defiant label. I arrived with Dr. Lynn's notes. Ethan wasn't defiant, he was direct. Honest isn't disrespectful. They dropped it. Why do they want me different? He asked at dinner. Because people fear those who see more than they do. He nodded and ate quietly. He asked for documents, birth certificate, school paperwork, social security card, anything with his name. I assumed he was processing Rachel's absence, mapping his life on paper. We scanned everything, backed it up, and built folders with labels I didn't fully grasp. What are you building? I asked. A system so nothing gets lost. I kissed his hair. Whatever helps. The future took shape the summer he turned 12. He found coding. What are you doing? Learning Python. Is that for school? No, I just want to learn. He coded all summer. Tiny programs that sorted files, found duplicates, detected changes. By September, I bought him a real computer. He set it up, promised to sleep reasonable hours, and disappeared into a world of logic I couldn't enter. In October, he showed me a program. It generates a document fingerprint. Change one word, and the signature changes. Proof of alteration. So you can tell if someone edits something? Yes. And when and how many times? He met my eyes briefly. So things stay true. I thought of school meetings where words evaporated or changed later. That's brilliant, I said. It's just pattern recognition. He shrugged. At 13, he expanded the project. I want to digitize all your binders, school meetings, everything. We spent weeks scanning IEP notes, therapy assessments, report cards, incident reports, every sheet of Ethan's story. What are you adding? Timestamps, verification codes, hash values. Each document links to the ones before and after, like a chain. Change a link, the chain breaks. So this protects the truth, I said. Yes. By 14, he asked if I'd kept anything from when he first came. Receipts, calendars, bank statements. I need to know what actually happened, not what people say. We scanned everything. Grocery receipts, bank statements showing no money from Rachel, phone bills proving she hadn't called, calendars recording our routines. Evidence, not of my words, but of reality. He stayed up late that year. I left snacks at midnight, found him asleep at his desk at dawn, monitors still glowing. What are you making? Something to show what's real versus what people claim. Because of your mom? Because people lie, and sometimes you need proof. At 15, spring 2020, mid-pandemic, he finished it. A clean interface with boxes and buttons. It analyzes documents, creation time, signatures, alterations. It catches forgeries. He emailed companies. The first sale, $20,000, arrived in June. By 16, November 2020, he had multiple clients. By early 2021, offers escalated, licensing, acquisitions. We hired a lawyer, James Nakamura. I want to sell it entirely, Ethan decided. I don't want to manage licensing or updates. Non-compete for 5 years, James warned. That's fine, Ethan said. He sold in March for $3.2 million. Local news filmed a short segment. What inspired this? The reporter asked. I wanted to know what was real. People lie. Documents don't, if you read them correctly. It aired on Friday. Ethan didn't celebrate. He waited, watching, quiet. Something tightened in him I couldn't name. 2 weeks later, the doorbell rang. Rachel and a lawyer stood there. Mrs. Cooper. I'm Stephen Walsh, counsel for Ms. Cooper. We're here regarding Ethan's situation. His situation? Rachel smiled a tight, glossy smile. Ethan appeared, expression blank, analytical. Come in, he said. At the table where Ethan and I had built our lives, Walsh explained. Rachel wished to resume custody and financial guardianship. Ethan was 16. She'd never terminated parental rights. She'd been co-parenting at a distance. Lies. He laid out notarized documents, custody, financial support, contact logs, slick and official. They're fake, I said, without proof. We hired Linda Reyes, a family law attorney. She reviewed Rachel's documents for an hour. They look legitimate, she said carefully. Do you have proof they're forged? I had binders, years of caregiving, but no legal guardianship order. Courts may favor her unless we prove fraud, Linda warned. She's aiming for financial guardianship until 18. $3.2 million. That was the prize. Depositions began. Rachel went first, composed, maternal, dates and dollar amounts, monthly visits, money orders. None of it true. All meticulously detailed. Why now? Walsh asked. Ethan needs proper management and a mother's guidance as he approaches adulthood, she said, glancing at me with practiced regret. 3 days later, Ethan testified, precise, sparse. Do you remember visits? I don't recall. Phone calls? I'd have to check my records. Financial support? I don't remember receiving any. His honest uncertainty sounded like support for her. Linda was frank. Without evidence of fraud, we might lose. That night, I found Ethan at 3 a.m. coding. Court is tomorrow, I said. I'm almost done. My records. I don't know how to fight this. Tell the truth, he said softly. Truth isn't enough. She has proof. Tell the truth, he repeated. Morning came. At court, Judge Harrison presided. Sharp eyes, gray hair swept back. Rachel looked like concerned mother. Walsh presented. Parental rights intact. Financial support documented. Regular contact maintained. The judge studied the exhibits. Mrs. Cooper, she asked Rachel, describe your involvement. Rachel delivered dates, visits, money orders, phone calls, lies. smooth as glass. Linda presented my binders, proof of caregiving. But the judge asked about formal guardianship. There was none. Sympathy flickered, doubt settled. I leaned toward Ethan. She's lying. Let her talk, he whispered. Mr. Cooper, the judge said, do you wish to speak? Yes, Your Honor. I have evidence. He carried a laptop to the stand. I built a system that verifies document authenticity. May I connect to the display? Walsh bristled. We weren't informed. You submitted fraudulent documents 6 weeks ago, Ethan said evenly. I analyzed them. On screen, Rachel's custody papers. These claim dates from 2011 to 2020, Ethan said. But the metadata shows creation 6 weeks ago, immediately after the news story. Walsh objected. Metadata can be manipulated, not when cross-checked. Ethan ran signature analysis, comparing Rachel's 2005 signature on his birth certificate against the new documents. Pressure, slant, spacing, statistical mismatches, forge marks. The judge leaned in. How do you know? I sold this system last month for $3.2 million. It's what it does. He pulled up a verified timeline. Calendars, photos, therapy notes, attendance logs. December 2013. She claims a visit. Here are my grandmother's calendar entries. Photos with timestamps. Therapy notes stating mother not present, school attendance. Money orders? He displayed 7 years of bank records. No deposits from Rachel. Calls? Phone records from 2010 onward. 0 calls from her number after December 24, 2010. Every claim disproved with evidence. You couldn't build this in 6 weeks, Walsh protested. I didn't. I've built it for 7 years. I analyzed these documents 6 weeks ago. The judge absorbed it in silence. So when she says she visited monthly, sent money, called often, you can prove she didn't because you can prove what actually happened. Yes, Your Honor. Mrs. Cooper, the judge asked Rachel, explain these discrepancies. Rachel faltered. Metadata might be wrong. Dates. Confusing. Specific proof? The judge pressed. Rachel had none. I've seen enough, the judge said at last. From the bench. Rachel's testimony not credible. Documents fraudulent. Full custody and guardianship to me. Referral to the district attorney for perjury and fraud. Rachel made a strangled sound. The gavel fell. It was over. Outside in the sun, I finally understood. You knew, I said. You were protecting us. Ethan nodded once. 6 months later, the non-compete barred him from security work, so he launched a software testing and QA company. I'm hiring people like me, he said. Autistic folks see patterns others miss. His first hire was Steven, my former 4th grader, the boy I'd once defended to the school board. They said he'd never keep a job. Now he was Ethan's lead tester. Then came Marcus, then Lily, more of my former students. I visited the office. 6 desks, quiet focus. Steven lifted his headphones. Mrs. Cooper, you said I wasn't broken, just different. His voice shook. Ethan says the same. I could only nod. Rachel received 2 years probation and 500 hours of community service at an autism resource center. 3 months in, I dropped supplies. She was on the floor reading to nonverbal kids, exhausted and humbled. The director, not knowing who I was, said, "That volunteer comes extra hours, says she's learning what she should have learned years ago." I didn't speak to Rachel. Some truths don't need words. A Tuesday evening, I brought dinner to Ethan's apartment. His chipped yellow cup sat on the counter. We ate quietly. He set down his phone. Vivian. I turned. I know what you gave up for me. Your friends, the trips you didn't take. You could have sent me away. School suggested it. You didn't. You're my grandson. I know, but you chose it, every day, even when I couldn't say thank you. It mattered, he said softly. I placed my hand near his, close, not touching. You were worth every day, I said. He nodded. I know that now. We finished the dishes. He opened his laptop. The routine felt the same, but something essential had been spoken aloud. I kissed his hair on my way out. He didn't flinch. See you Tuesday, I said. Tuesday, he confirmed. Driving home along the same route I'd taken 1,000 times, the way Ethan liked it, the way I'd learned to like it, my phone buzzed at a red light. A text from Ethan. Thank you. 2 words. I smiled the whole way home. That's my story. Tell me what you think. If you were in my place, could you forgive your own daughter for abandoning your grandson? Let me know in the comments. And subscribe for more stories like mine.